Last week, was there more collaboration as a staff for the game plan as opposed to weeks before it?
No, it's been the same all year. We've been pretty consistent with kind of everything we've done all year with the game planning and just with the coaches and with the players.
What does it look like when you're going through and simplifying a playbook?
I don't know. What do you mean? I mean, I know what simplifying playbook is, but you talking about in the off season when we go through it in the off season? Yeah, we've pretty much done the same thing all year. We've had the same volume. We have a certain amount of plays per section. First and second down plays. We've had a certain amount of plays in that area. Third down plays. We have plays in that area. Red zone plays. And then other little situations that come up through the game, we have a certain amount of plays, and kind of it's been pretty consistent all year. Now, whether or not we call them all, no, but we practice them all.
Obviously, the result's the biggest thing with the game, but as far as overall flow and just how things seem to be going for the offense, were you relatively pleased with how things went from
Yeah, it's hard to say yes because we came up short. We had the ball in our hands with 2 minutes to go, and we came up short. There was some more positive things, and to have the lead because of some of those positive things in the fourth quarter, it was made it bittersweet, because you want to take it in the fourth quarter and finish a game and play like we know we're capable of playing. But guys are, as you guys have seen, we're playing we played a lot of different players, a lot of young players, and you can see the comfort level with some of the guys that have all of a sudden that are on the field because of the snaps they've gotten, maybe in the past few weeks or earlier in the year.
It seemed like Lenoris got out on the run a lot more, rolling out to his left, sometimes like sprinting to his right. What went into that this week, and how do you think it went?
Wait, which way? You said left and right there.
Yeah, I feel like there were a couple times he rolled out
sides.
to his left, and then there were some times where he kind of, I don't know if it was a sprint option.
Oh, yeah, both ways, yeah. Yeah, no, so each week you try to, there's all, as you try to attack defenses, it's, sometimes it's, on the edge, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's different plays, but he's done a good job, when he's gotten out of the pocket. He does a really good job of keeping his eyes down the field and while he's out of the pocket. And he's done, for the most part, he's done a good job making, we talk about making good decisions late in the down, whether or not it's on a scramble or if you're out of the pocket or whatever. If it's not there, down the field, find your outlets, know it, and at worst, as we know, use your legs, and he can make plays with his legs that way too.
Mike, you have a good performance one week, and maybe from the outside, folks are saying, man, you just got to do that again. How realistic is that as a coach, considering it might be a completely different defense to prepare for?
Yeah, no, all these are really good questions. I mean, yes, you have to look at I think the best way to answer that is you kind of have to circle back as you evaluate the game on how teams are seeing you and if you can continue with whatever it is, the success that you have. Number one, if you can, obviously any coordinator would want to, but if not, have certain plays that are off that, that come off plays that have been successful. And there's a fine line in continuing to run the plays that you've run that have had success, and then all of a sudden you run it one more time and that's one too many times, and you're like, you need to have something off it. So yeah, and then that's what's exciting about being a coach and game planning and preparing is the mental part of it of giving your players the things that they do well, and also doing it in a way where maybe you're not as predictable, even though you want to continue that. Maybe make it look like something else and still run the same plays. And hopefully we can build on the success that we've had as far as moving the football. Now we got to get better and getting points on the board, finishing drives, and staying out of the negatives.
7 different players on Saturday caught passes from Lenoris. How much of an emphasis is it when you're kind of coming up with a game plan to try to get as many guys involved to kind of make a defense kind of have to account for everybody that's on the field?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think that you have to be careful. I think you do a lot of that during the course of early in the week, as far as trying to get players in position that you think they're going to be kind of the guy that's going to make the play. But you can't have your quarterback just like, hey, throw it to this guy, throw it to that guy, throw it to that, because we want to spread it on the, or, hey, we're going to try to get the ball here. But because otherwise he kind of gets locked in on just that player as far as throwing the football. And meanwhile, you're forcing the ball and somebody else is open. So your quarterback's got to be very, flexible, and obviously make good decisions that whoever's in that area, that even though we thought all week it was going to be this guy, all of a sudden it could have been that guy. So he's got to be, take what he's learned in the practice field and move on. But it does help when, yes, if someone's looking at us and all of a sudden, like, there's a hit chart and they're saying, oh, they're only throwing the ball to this guy. Well, yeah, no, we need to have variety.
Just from watching the game, it felt like one of the best games Lenoris has played this season. And then you kind of go look at the stat sheet, and one of the worst in terms of completion percentage. But I'm curious, like, when you're going it over with him, do you care about completion percentage? Is that something where there's kind of a give and take?
Yeah, I mean, that's where stats can be misleading. But they're also a good frame of reference. Our biggest thing is statistically is win the football game, whatever it takes. But the thing that we look at the most is when we're grading is, hey, decisions. Hey, is this a good decision? Did he make a good decision here? Whether or not it was going to the right guy. I think we've said this, hey, is he going to the right guy? Is he getting the ball there on time? Is he getting the ball there accurately? And those are kind of, now when you put those together and you kind of do the stats on those, that's kind of what we look at. And sometimes you're like, God, I felt like he completed a lot, and then other times you felt like he didn't hardly complete any, and you look over there and he's like 70%. So, but yeah, good decisions that keep us on the field and stay out of negative plays, and eventually we feel like if he continues to do that throughout a game, we're going to get points on the board.
The drive where there was the strip fumble
Yeah.
At the end, what was just your takeaway from how that led up to that point, and then the play itself? What did you see just in real time, than maybe looking at the tape?
On his run? You mean when he run on his fumble? Yeah, no, it's heartbreaking, number one. And then where I was standing, I saw it come out early too, and I was like, oh God. And then you're just kind of hoping nobody else saw it. But we were actually I was getting ready to try to run a play real fast before anybody saw it. But yeah, he's such a good runner, and he's powerful, and he's hard to bring down. But you got to be careful when they do that, because teams get that too. They're looking at you, and they're looking at certain runners and what they can do if they can't quite tackle you. Then the second guy in, try to pull it out and strip it, and they're good at it. And unfortunately, it was at that time, and it was hard. I know how hard it was for him, but every week he lays it all on the line, and you just kind of keep learning, and win or loss, you want to learn from it and be better and get better.
What did you see from the offensive line's performance this past week against Alabama? Then now with 2 weeks under Coach Shula, what have you seen from that group?
I think the biggest thing to your point right there, I think there's a little more comfort level with Sean and what he's being asked and what he's asked them to do, and not that it's like glaringly different, because we have been doing a lot of good things. Just a little different style with what he's doing. And so I think that, and the fact that, again, some of these young players are playing and they're just getting used to experience against some really good, competition. Guys on the defensive line in the SEC are really good players. So I think you saw that, and I think you could see that on the sidelines too, even after drives, and not just after we, put points on the drive on the board, but other drives too. I just felt like they had a little more confidence, a really good look in their eye, and couldn't wait to get back out there.
Going back to that possession, there are obviously a lot of variables that you have to contend with the clock and how many timeouts save guys, where you're out in the field.
Right.
What's sort of the priority there? Is it just getting that first down, and I know obviously you want to end with the kick, but what's sort of the process in those?
Kind of. You want to kind of get going. Whether or not it's you're down late or you have a little more time with timeouts there. You just kind of want to get into a rhythm, get that first down, and then you feel like you can kind of open up a little bit regarding what you want to do. It might still be another run, or it might be play action, or whatever it is, but. because I think the play before that we had the snap before that it was like 2nd and 8, and then we got them to jump off sides, and then I think he got it to 2nd and 3, or maybe it was 2nd and 9, 2nd and 4, whatever it was. So, yeah, I mean, you just kind of want to do that and have good balance while you have time, so guys aren't just kind of teeing off on us and where you're throwing the ball all the time.
To this point in the season, how would you kind of evaluate your red zone offense, and what do you want to see most improve in that area?
Yeah, I mean, we're in it every time we get in there, we're in it to score, and we got to be better there. I think the biggest thing when you look at red zone offense on your productivity is just and it's consistent with the field, but I think it's magnified in the red zone as you stay out of the negative plays. And if you make first downs in the red zone, your chances go way up. Your touchdown chances percentage goes way up. So whether or not you're taking shots to try to get the ball in the end zone on first or second down, or just finding ways to move the ball and get a first down and then continue. We want to have a balance there, but we hadn't been good enough, and both throwing the ball and running it. So we work hard on it every week, and we'll continue to do that this week.
Hey, Mike, there was kind of an assumption, and it's pretty obvious that there's good chemistry between Lenoris and his brother. Given the fact that receivers, when you call a play, the receivers are going to run the route the same play regardless of who the receiver is, how real of a thing is chemistry between a quarterback and a receiver?
Well, this is my first time having that, so I'm kind of learning, and I think there is. I think there is a comfort level with those two guys, and I think there's a trust and a mutual respect, which is kind of pretty cool to see from brothers. Sometimes you don't always see that, maybe not at the family dinner table or in the household, but it is pretty cool. And it means that they're both really good competitors, and football makes sense to both of them. And we knew that with Lenoris, and just kind of with Pup, just kind of seeing him evolve a little bit here. It's been neat.
What do you see so far with Ole Miss, and one of the lower averages in terms of what they give up to the run? What's it going to take for you guys to get going on the ground?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be led by our offensive line, but we got to have good balance and have whether or not it's a variety of schemes, or schemes that we feel like that are we can stick with and kind of repeat. But yeah, they're good. They're stout, and they're stout for different reasons. You'll see them. There's movement up front where they line up in one, and all of a sudden at the snap they're doing something different. And there's other times where they just kind of line up there and they're just hard to move. So it's going to be all hands on deck, and just be able to do it with kind of what we've tried to do all year, different personnel groupings and different formations, and maybe just get them in a situation where yes, I mean, they're good, but get them in a situation where hey, these guys do some good. Our offense is good too, and we got to be able to. They got to have to handle different things that we do. That's kind of our attitude every week. Okay, thanks a lot, y'all.